Hey folks, this is Judd. I'm Daydreaming with Dragons, and this is Reply Show Charlie, coming at you on December 19th. I got some nice replies, some in text, some in MP3, and we're gonna get through them. Let's do it. Thank you for replying, everybody, and let's daydream.
Hi Judd, Paul here. Thanks for your dream about dragons. Finding it really interesting so far. I've been thinking about the alignment languages thing, and was wondering if perhaps it could be a little bit like in Glorantha, where the characters are all have ties to the various runes, which influences their personality. And then, so because you've got the planes of law, chaos, good and evil, perhaps the power from those planes is influencing the characters in particular ways, and when that influence gets to a certain point, they can speak. They all of a sudden get the power to speak the language of or from that particular plane, and that can explain why spells like detect evil, good, protection from evil, and good can work as well, because they're infused with this power, which is detectable by through magic. So yeah, quite interesting. Thanks very much. Running out of time. Keep up good work. Look forward to the next one, which will be this evening. Probably listen to it on the commute tomorrow. So wonderful. Cheers. Bye.
Hey, Paul. Thank you for recording that lovely message. I love it. I love Glorantha and linking the players to the planes from their background or from their origins or from something. It's funny. I was at a game store this weekend, and there was a game going on, and I immediately thought, like, what would I want to run at a game store? And I thought about running a Planescape game, just the archetypical Planescape game that I feel like was promised on the box, that I never really got to play, right? Where the players have Sigil as their base of operations, and they go out into the Outlands where there are imbalances happening. And I wrote a blog post about it that I'll put in the show notes. And the players deal with imbalances in the planes. And one of the things I was thinking about is maybe I would run it with D&D 5e, but maybe I would also run it with Knave, just to keep it fast and simple. And I'll have a link to Knave in the show notes too. And but rather than just have players make up straight up Knaves, maybe they could have something about their character that's also imbalanced, so that they are somehow attached to the planes. So what you said about the language that players are vomiting out is because they are somehow attached to some kind of planar alignment. Resonated with me because I was thinking about that very thing. So thank you very much. And I appreciate you listening, and I appreciate you recording a message even more. Thanks. I hope to talk to you soon. Hey, folks. I got a message from Logan Howard on MeWe. And he was feeling a little sick, so he didn't want to record anything. And you don't have to feel sick to not want to record something. You could just say, I don't want to record anything. You don't have to. Some folks might not have the material to do it. Some folks might feel uncomfortable doing it. I want to communicate. So whatever works for you. As I said, email, tweet, reply, Raven, Pigeon, whatever. So thank you, Logan, for taking the time to write this out. And he had some really cool ideas on what players want. And here's what he said. As far as thoughts I have while listening to the show, it reminded me of a couple of improv principles I attached onto in the 90s. 1, offers are promises. When a character reveals that thing they want, it's an offer to the GM, because moving the story forward demands saying yes to offers. It becomes a promise. In other words, if a player hints at the kind of things they want to see in the game, the GM would make the most of their time together by shining a light on the requested material. That doesn't mean the character gets everything they want. It means that the longing for it and the opportunity to get it spend little time on center stage. 2, look backward to move forward. When the story is poised to explore a new direction, you can often find inspiration from small details that were already mentioned. In fact, bringing up that drop ball from a long time ago, as if it was the obvious subject you were always planning to return to, is often seen as brilliance. Very true. Taking that wished for thing from several sessions back and pulling it into the spotlight makes that player feel super special. I think that kind of interaction can have a huge impact on the game as the entire group sees you as a true fan. Good stuff, Logan. I don't even know what to say other than I'm nodding. I don't know. Improv advice can leave me cold, but your stuff was really good and really tangible. I love it. That is really, really good stuff. And I like that the idea that when players say that they want something, it makes it a good use of our time. That's a really good way to put it, right? Because it reminds us that our time together at the table is finite. That no matter how long a game runs, ultimately it is finite. We can get really grim and start talking about death and finality and all that stuff. But despite us being so close to the winter solstice and the darkest days of the year, I'm going to stay away from those kinds of talks and just say that I love the idea that when a player says they want something, it is a good use of time to spotlight on it. And that doesn't necessarily mean giving it. It means putting a spotlight on it. That's neat stuff. That's really, really cool. Cool stuff, Logan. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you thinking through what players want some more with me. It's an interesting thing. And I feel like playing Burning Wheel for years has really kind of honed my muscles on that, my creative muscles. Because Burning Wheel is just an engine for, asking, oh, really? You want this? Really? Really? What about now? That's really what the Burning Wheel game is. There's a lot more to it. It's a complicated machine, but ultimately that's what that machine asks. So great stuff. Thank you very much, Logan. I appreciate you listening, and I appreciate even more taking the time to write something out, especially thoughts that are so wonderful and are techniques that we can put to words and think about. One of the things I really like about the Apocalypse World game and Dungeon World is that they and Monster Hearts is that they name tools that we use, and when we name techniques, it makes it easier to pull it out. It makes it easier for us to think about it and use it and think critically about how we use it. So good stuff. Thanks, Logan. I'll talk to you soon. Hey, I got an email from Matthew Gagan, and he writes very kind words. Thank you, Matthew. I appreciate you taking the time to write this out to me, and this is really a wonderful email, so thank you. Hey, Judd, long time no moo. Yes. Listened through your first few daydreams, loved the format, and was excited to hear you're back in the podcasting game. Like you, I got into RPGs like Dust Devils and Dogs in the Vineyard a long while back, but have more recently been futzing around with games like Dungeon Crawl Classics and basic D&D that incorporate a lot of situation and world building via random tables. On random tables and world building. Apart from encounter tables, I've been appreciating reading and developing starting equipment tables for characters as a way of creating a window for players into my D&D sandbox campaign without the dreaded massive info dump, not drump. 3 recent games that do this well are Blades in the Dark, Into the Odd, and The Nightmares Underneath. Oof, those games, yes. Yes. All right, back to the letter. What gears started turning when one of these PCs starting items is randomly something like a stone promise from the hedge witch Tamsin Blight. I have more thoughts about world building and my work developing achievements for characters. I'll save that for another day. Looking forward to hearing about it. On gaming inspiration, I've almost finished my binge watch of 3 seasons of BBC's The Last Kingdom, a British historical fiction series based on Bernard Cornwell's The Saxon Stories novels. Most episodes feel like a Burning Wheel game in ways that you might appreciate. The main character, Uhtred, and many of the supporting characters are burdened by the dramatic triumvirate of strong beliefs, conflicted loyalties, and their word is bond. Some people likely feel incorporating a Viking-like culture into their fantasy worlds is fairly played out, but the reason I return to those tropes so often is how well honor cultures facilitate interesting conflicts. So I find shows like The Last Kingdom as great fodder for gaming prep. Keep on daydreaming. Matt. Nemo meme. Matt. A parenthetical Nemo meme. Got it. Thank you, Matthew. This is great stuff. So the 3 games you named, Blades in the Dark, Into the Odd, and The Nightmares Underneath. Absolutely. Yes, 1,000 times yes. At one point, I was running 2 or 3 Blades in the Dark games all at once, and I loved it. I love that game. I could run it anytime, anywhere, all the time, all day long. I really, really dig that game. Into the Odd is one I've run here and there, and I love it. I want to play it more. And the Nightmares Underneath taunts me. I want to play that game so terribly, and I adore it. It is stunning. So, yes, you've named good stuff, and the games that you mentioned. I mean, everything you mentioned, I'm nodding along. Right when you talked about entering into indie RPGs with Dust Devils and Dogs of the Vineyard. I mean, you've been listening to podcasts that I've been doing for a long time, so you know that's how I got into it. And then when you talk about heading into Dungeon Crawl Classics and basic D&D, I feel you. I really feel you. I was running DCC for a while with some friends online, and I loved it. So I was shocked at how much I loved it. It's really fun. It's really fun stuff, and I would like to get back to some old school D&D-ish gaming. I think it's fun. Nightmares Underneath might be the way I do it if I don't end up doing it through my weird hack. So good stuff. With everything you're saying about random tables and world building, I'm nodding, and I'd love to hear more about your developing achievements. That's good stuff. I know in the game that I'm tinkering with, one of the ways that players change is through scars and tattoos. So I'm kind of interested in your achievements. And when you talk about The Last Kingdom, it's funny you should say that. I haven't watched it yet, but my buddy Drew, who is a librarian in arms and has played Burning Wheel with me a bunch in the Traditions of the Swordlords game, along with Rachel, he mentioned The Last Kingdom, and he mentioned it being very Burning Wheel-like. So two people I trust have now mentioned it. So it's time. It's time. I've got to go check that out. Thank you very much for taking the time to write me that lovely email, and I appreciate it. And yeah, I'll be daydreaming. I'll be here. So thanks again. I'll talk to you soon. And that is it, folks. Thank you to everyone who replied to me. I appreciate it. And it is December 19th as I prepare to hit publish on this. We are 2 days away from the winter solstice, so it's getting dark out there, but it's going to get brighter soon. So, keep an eye out. I don't want to, grab the inspiration goat by the horns, but I saw Into the Spider-Verse, and it was amazing. Matter of fact, I'm going to see it again on Christmas Day with some friends and loved ones. So I'm looking forward to having something to look forward to on Christmas Day. Not my favorite day of the year, but I'm excited to see some Miles Morales and Dad Bod Peter Parker get back out there. That'd be fun. Drop me a line. Let me know what you're doing over the holidays, or let me know what games you're playing. Let me know what's going, if anything's grabbing your inspiration goat. If not, keep your eye out for your own inspiration goat. They're out there. Just, you got to look for them sometimes. Have a good holiday season, folks. I will see you all this Sunday when we'll talk a little bit more about gaming, a little bit more inspiration goat, and keep on keeping on. All right. Have a good week. It's Wednesday. You're almost through it. Almost to the holidays. Good luck. Be well. Talk to you soon.